The technicians who fail the CRCST and the CSPDT exams are mainly for reasons that have nothing to do with how much they study. In fact, some of the smartest people I've met have walked into the test confident and walked out crushed. Why? Because they made mistakes that could have been avoided. And I don't want that to happen to you. So I'm breaking down the do's and the don'ts of the Sterile Processing Certification Exams. If you're prepping for certification, you're going to want to hear this. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Sterile Guy channel. If you're new here, I'm Brandon, also known as the Sterile Guy. I make videos to help you not only pass your sterile processing exams, but also to actually thrive in this career. If that's something you're working on, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a future video. And if you're feeling generous, give the video a like. I do believe I am your go-to SPD guy. So let's jump into the do's and don'ts that make or break your certification success. Do pace your practice. Don't cram the night before. SPD exams aren't about quick memorization. They're about application. If you think you can binge 500 flashcards the night or week before and get away with it, you're setting yourself up for massive anxiety and blanking out on test day. Instead, you need to spread out your studying. 20 to 30 minutes a day over 4 to 6 weeks sticks way better than an all-nighter. Cramming just overloads your short-term memory and leaves you with nothing but an upset stomach when you're staring at that test screen. Number 2, do focus on the why behind procedures. Don't just memorize steps. These exams love to test your understanding, not just your recall. You can't just memorize definitions and expect to pass. Don't get me wrong, definitions are great and necessary, but they are just a piece to the certification puzzle. For example, instead of just memorizing that biological indicators are used daily, you need to understand why they're the gold standard for sterilization assurance. When you know the why, you can handle tricky scenario questions that twist the wording. People who only memorize steps usually panic when the question isn't word for word from their flashcards or practice exams. This is also why every once in a while, a tech will fail the exam and complain to me that my test questions weren't on the exam. Newsflash, they will not be the exact same questions that are on the exam. That's copyright and illegal. Number 1, copying and providing exact test questions is copyright infringement and illegal. Number 2, practice exams and flashcards are meant to assist and test your studying progress. They are not the HSPA manual, nor a replacement for it. You must use flashcards and practice exams as tools to analyze what subjects you know well and where you need extra work. And then go read and study more from those parts of the HSPA manual. Unless you have the hands-on experience and were trained appropriately, I wouldn't rely solely on practice exams and flashcards. Always pair them with the manual. And I'll link to the HSPA manual down below so you can get yourself a copy. Number 3, do get comfortable with trick wording. Don't assume every question is straightforward. Here's one that trips people up. Exam writers sometimes use double negatives. This would be phrases like, which of the following is not considered unacceptable? You almost have to read this one backwards. Find the answers that are unacceptable to rule those out, and then locate the one that is acceptable, because acceptable is not unacceptable. Still boggles my mind when I read questions like this. If you're rushing, you'll pick the exact opposite of the right answer. I know the test is timed and it can feel like that clock is ticking faster than normal, but you gotta slow down. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Underline the keyword in your head. Keywords like not, except, or always, and you'll avoid losing easy points. Some people fail not because they don't know the content. They fail because they rush and misread. Number 4, do practice with real-timed mock exams. Don't just casually flip flashcards. Flashcards are great for drilling instruments and terminology, but the exam environment is a whole different beast. You're on a timer, you've got 150 questions, and your brain needs to build endurance. Practicing with real-timed tests builds that stamina. People who only study casually at home with a deck of cards are shocked by how much mental energy it takes to focus for hours at a time on difficult certification questions. And you don't have the freedom to just take a bunch of breaks and check your phone or walk around a bunch. You can't even take your eyes away from your cubicle and stare somewhere else because you're in an official test that is being observed and recorded. You need to practice sitting in silence for long periods of time, just answering multiple choice questions. It'll make game day or test day much easier. And number 5, do walk in with confidence. Don't let imposter syndrome take over. Now, caveat up front, if you didn't put in the work to study properly, then this one doesn't apply to you because you may not have good reason to be confident. I know that might be a hard pill to swallow, but your success or failure in this exam is 100% your responsibility. You can't hold anyone accountable but yourself. Now back to walking in with confidence and rejecting imposter syndrome. This is a sneaky one. You might sit down and think, I don't belong here. I'm not smart enough. I'll never pass. That mental game is brutal and it costs people their focus. But here's the truth. If you've studied consistently, if you've put in the work, you already know way more than you think. Walk in knowing you've earned your shot. Confidence doesn't mean arrogance. It means telling your brain, I've got this. I put in the work, and trust me, it changes how you perform. So those are my 5 do's and don'ts that make or break your sterile processing exam. None of these are the typical just study harder tips. These are things most people never think about until it's too late. But if you're studying for the certification exam or getting ready to, check out thesterileguy.com where you can find practice exams, flashcards, and even a Sterile Processing 101 certification prep course, which walks you through the HSPA manual chapter by chapter with video lessons, written lessons, quizzes, and even cheat sheets that get you to the core content you'll find on the exam. And with the Sterile Processing 101 certification prep course, the mock exam is timed, so you'll have that actual 3-hour timer clicking down just like it would in the real exam. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor, hit that like button so more future SPD techs can find this video. Thanks for watching. I'm Brandon, the Sterile Guy, and I'll catch you in the next one.